my restless dreams, I see that town.
Now, I realized the last time a bald guy talked to you about Silent Hill wasn't exactly the best experience. But today I am here to discuss the 2 sequels to the original PlayStation game Silent Hill, you know, known as Silent Hills 2 and 3. If you're looking for a review of both of the games, I mean, you're gonna have to just watch something else. They're both amazing. They're both well documented as being amazing. This is more of like a weigh-in video as to which one I find more scary. They're both amazing games. The best way to experience these is to do some software hacks and shenanigans on the PC version, because then you get your high resolution, you get your great character models, the textures still look great, even though they're straight from the early 2000s. But if you want a simple plug and play, the Xbox and PS2 versions are the way to go, and we can just kind of forget that the HD version in the thumbnail ever even happened. But actually, it emulates well on the PS3, using the PS2 backwards compatibility layer, except people's limbs like to phase in and out of reality. So,
This town, there's something wrong with it. It's kind of hard to explain, but...
Is it dangerous?
Maybe. And it's not just the fog, either.
Okay, I got it. I'll be careful.
multi-dimensional theory confirmed!
I believe.
Okay, anyway. Let's get to the meat of the video today. Which one do I find more scary? Now, to kind of have some backstory on this, you have to take it all the way back to the original Silent Hill. The town of Silent Hill, the player finds out, has the ability to manifest people's dreams and nightmares into reality. And that's about it. In the original Silent Hill, it's Alessa that has control over current reality, and Alessa is interrupting the cult's actions because the cult wishes to manifest this god being into existence. Some in-depth stuff, you'll have to play the game to find out. But anyway, the key here is that the player goes through an external nightmare world, or a nightmare world of somebody else's nightmare and dreams and creations come to life. The sequel, Silent Hill 2, takes a little bit of a different approach. Silent Hill 2, the manifestations still happen, but the manifestations are of James's internal, James's issues and psychological problems, most of which are James's manifestations, but sometimes other characters are allowed to join in. Most prominently, Alessa's first enemy introduction / boss fight. But the difference here is that the entire Silent Hill 2 experience revolves around James's psychological problems, and where the town kind of forces him to face his fears and conquer them, and things of that nature. Which wound up being a good formula. So good that they used it. And then they used it again. And then they used it again. It also wound up being the more relatable formula. And, I mean, I get it. I grew up during the early 2000s. Like, I know how bad the freaking early 2000s were. We had George W. as president, Let's just start there. We had new metal being traded on our dial-up and DSL networks. And I mean, heck, we were being exposed to all these new things, so of course you want to retreat into what's familiar. And besides, for some weird reason, people really latched on to the drama element of Silent Hill 2.
Anyway, I'm glad you're alive.
Anyway? What do you mean, anyway? You don't sound very happy to see me.
And
Killed back there.
when I'm trying to be scared, or when I want to play Silent Hill, not exactly the biggest fan of drama, but what else can I expect from an entire generation that eventually wound up epitomizing The Walking Dead?
No.
But anyway, this is what's known as the internal manifestations, where the player's fears, the player's hopes, anything from the player's past experience is manifested into the game. Which, you know, for the time was pretty clever, because most games made during that time, the playable character was very one-dimensional. So for a game creator to hide bits of information, unless you really pay attention to the game, is actually pretty genius for the time. But, you know, as people got more aware and more game writers just started copying from each other, the novelty wore off pretty quickly. But, I mean, again, for 2001, it was great. It was amazing. Now, what about Silent Hill 3? Well, Silent Hill 3 acts as a direct sequel to the original Silent Hill. 17 years later, you find out that Harry, the protagonist dad from the original Silent Hill, had the good ending wind up be canonical, which makes perfect sense. Great way to continue a story. Heather is being pulled back to Silent Hill to, I guess, give the birth of God another go. So, you already know where this is going to be. This is going to be another externally driven game. The cult still exists, and your intricate cult plotline with all the awesome details still exists. But, you basically swap out Dahlia Gillespie for Claudia. Your boy Father Vincent, probably one of my favorite video game characters of all time. And, of course, you as the lead character having a very prominent role in the game. We have the nightmare worlds, we have the foggy worlds of the cult's wishes, dreams, and Claudia's wishes and dreams manifest themselves. There's a little bit of an internal struggle too, as represented by external Heather dialogue, like anytime she looks at a mirror or something, or the visual world, how it depicts some very nasty things. Silent Hill 3 is externally driven again. Which one do I find more scary? Well, I'm gonna have to put on my hipster hat and go against society. I find Silent Hill 3 to be more intriguing and scary than Silent Hill 2, because they dial down on the soap opera. There's not a lot of drama in Silent Hill 3. They dial up the what the F meter like a lot in that game.
What is this?
Looks like God didn't make it.
Stop!
It really is one of those one of those games. So, I always find a direct correlation between, or with, the amount of control I have and the amount of fear to experience in the game. On that note, we are indeed gonna cover the Western developed Silent Hill games, you know, Origin through Downpour. And, if I'm feeling really sadistic, I'll even play Book of Memories. No way. No, I'm not doing that, I'm sorry. No. But, yeah. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Birthday to you. Happy 31st birthday.
Who would even think of doing something so disgusting?